Yeah, how's it going? Today is 26th of December, Thursday, and we're gonna be taking a look at a market, what kind of opportunities we can find, or perhaps in today's video we can approach things slightly different, right? First, since it's holidays, perhaps we can begin by taking a look at some of the music, right? That would be Boris Break have released Christmas Mix 2024, so perhaps for people who are interested in perhaps great music, so that's always a good start. So let's start with music, and from there we're going to be progressing and all reflecting on some balances, right? Let's take a look at some of the performances up there. Potentially from Germany, we're gonna be moving to UK, right? And we're gonna be taking a look at some of the statistics or something. Myself, I was taking a look at yesterday. That would be starting with. By the way, I'm trying out different AI system, so I thought well, let's try the system and put in a good use. I think it's called Grok. For some time, perhaps for a period of 2 months, let's try this system and let's see how well this system would function. While trying it out, so I thought what would be a good questions to ask and how accurate some of that information might be. Some questions might be better, some questions might be worse, since there's a lot of bias, in particular in some of the questions that I was asking when it comes to end-to-end encrypted messaging platforms. Yesterday, I asked so many different AI systems, and none of them could offer a very good example. Well, anyway, that's a different subject. Let's come back to UK and let's try to reflect on 2024 performance and how year went, and perhaps some improvements that could be made, right? Starting with perhaps working people in UK. That's a good start. That will be approximately 33.1 million people employed in UK. Great. From there, we are progressing and we're breaking down. And what's the ratio, right? Or how many women and men are living in UK? Females, the slightly over by 1 million or so, living in UK. Great, so far so good. From there, we're taking a look at working. How many men and women are working? So roughly, just over 3 million of men of more are working compared to women. 3 million, right? Which is great. And from there, we're breaking down into full-time working, right? So that would be how many men compared to women are working full-time. So that would be 14.8 million of men are working full-time compared to women who are working 10.5 million of women who are working full-time, right? So for just to put things into perspective, perhaps we can break it down in percentage-wise, right? Percentage, that would be roughly about 40%, 40.1% of more men are working full time. Just some of the data up there. Who are contributing more to economy, and in turn, perhaps then someone's complaining about economy or the personal circumstances. Perhaps they should consider, some people should consider to put more into economy, and then they would receive more. Very easy. That perhaps is something to reflect on, as well as I thought it might be worth taking a look at replacement level. So that would be a birth rate, since we're reflecting perhaps on man and woman, and everyone has different circumstances, all this kind of thing. So I thought we can reflect on some of the data. So no, not necessarily emotions. There might be a lot of emotions, and we are testing this AI model, by the way. So that would be replacement level would be 2.1 to replace entire population of UK, and this is our birth rate for UK and where things should be. And as of now, when it comes to birth rate, that we are taking a look at, it's 1.49. So for the overall performance of this AI model, it's alright, it's doing alright. So perhaps we're going to be using Grok a little bit more often going forward, right? Just coming back to Europe and what's happening in Europe, so I thought it might be of interest to some of the people overall performance of year that we had, and some of the important information perhaps out there that should be during critical times. There was a lot of business opportunities perhaps for some, and some of the critical areas, I would say. But anyway, then we're taking a look at Europe. That would be let's keep names. Names not necessarily would be important. That would be the President of the European Commission. He has indeed been at the central of controversy regarding the text messages. She allegedly sent and received related messages to procurement of COVID. Some of those Toyota Corolla vaccines, right? And from there, we were taking a look at text messages scandal. There's something that happened in 2020 first. It was released by the New York Times. So potentially that would be the United States, right? Who was paying attention at what was happening. Many people were busy doing other things, like working full time, working, right? Where others were busy doing other things, right? But anyway, messages, there might be a lot of names, and we don't know all the circumstances, right? So allegedly, everything what we are discussing allegedly may or may not have happened, but overall, that was something. There are a lot of projects or company names. Let's keep those. Discussing the procurement of some of the vaccines. This relation came after herself mentioned these communications in interview. So from what this AI model is saying, it's something that was mentioned by herself during interview that there was communication with regards to text messages, right? Including these private messages played a role in securing significant vaccine deals for EU. That would be overall. Perhaps we can take a look at transparency. If there were communications with regards to text messages, that would be European Ombudsman. Okay, so there might be people who many people can reach out to, perhaps asking for freedom of information by law, and perhaps we can take a look at that when it comes to transparency, cohesion, or European Union, and everything what's happening, right? Not necessarily all information will be important, but it's kind of interesting how this AI model is functioning and what kind of information would be important, as well as many people might be considering, okay, how much did EU have spent on some of those vaccines, right? Roughly about 35 billion, roughly. Since may or may not all information has been disclosed, right? So 35 billion, as well as how many have they purchased, roughly about 1.8 billion. This is how much they purchased. So would that be some of the discussions that would need to take place when it comes to texting some of the people out there? As well as if people are interested, there is a process. You can do the same when it comes to finding out or reaching out or finding this kind of information on some of those AI models, including if you yourself interested in raising requests for information. There's a process to do that as well. And perhaps if you have your own business, you can request perhaps for what are those phone numbers that everyone's talking about when it comes to receiving information. So you can text some of the government officials when it comes to discussing some of the contracts worth of 35 billion. You can then perhaps raise requests for information with regards to what are those phone numbers. You can ask for perhaps what are information has been discussed on this platform. You can ask for whatever you feel is right thing to do as a citizen of Europe. What I'm saying is 35 billion euros is a lot of money, and there might be some discussions that we might need to have when it comes to some security guarantees, which is great either way. Perhaps taxpayers might be interested to know what kind of communications were taking place, since those communications might be important, and they might be interested, or perhaps they were discussing business matters and they're not necessarily interested in sharing business discussions with the general public, right? Perhaps that's what was happening, right? Let's close that. Thanks for watching. See you next one.